What is up, my friends? This is Accelerate coming at you, getting ready for the van build. Let's get into it. All right, guys, as promised, I am starting on the van build. I've got insulation on the way, sound deadening on the way, but the first thing that I had to do was strip out this interior. I got a time lapse that I'm going to hit you with, and then we'll talk about some of the stuff and challenges that I have coming up. So stick around. All right, friends, as you can see, the van, removing the interior of the van was not that bad. Pulling stuff apart is always way easier, and it's actually really satisfying. So just to run down real quick, why I removed what I removed and why I haven't removed some of the other stuff, we'll talk about it. I'll go back to front and then we can talk about it. So I did remove the doors on both sides. The main reason why is because, number one, I'll need to insulate inside of both doors. This isn't going to fly. Sound deadening and insulation. Furthermore, if I want to mount anything to this, whether it's nets to store things or a fold out table or something like that, or even like a toolbox or a shower possibly, I don't know, who knows what's coming up. The plastic isn't going to work, so I'm going to have to utilize the metal frame, and then I can make my own panel whenever I wrap up exactly what I'm going to put up there. The same for this side. I'm just not going to be able to keep the plastic because I'm going to be doing different stuff and mounting custom stuff up there. So very common in van builds, they remove the plastic panels. And then a lot of times people will make their own panel to finish it up. All right, so moving forward, obviously the headliner is out. Look at this thing, guys. It's freaking giant. I don't even know what to do with this thing. I'm going to try to store it for a while and try to sell some of the interior to see if anybody wants it. I figured the seats would be gone already, but they're not. I mean, I don't know. It may be a pipe dream to hope that that somebody will take this thing. So it's really cool to get to see the skeleton of the van, to start looking at how I'm going to put things together, because obviously I've been doing a ton of research and trying to figure out exactly how I'm going to do this. But getting to see things apart is really cool. So this is the HVAC unit that I mentioned before. This guy cannot stay. It's one of those things where it's an evaporator, a blower, and an AC condenser all in one. So it's not the condenser, evaporator, but anyway, it's an expensive unit from the factory, and it's not very big. So this is one of the things that I really hope that I can sell and somebody can get use out of it, just because it's a 2018. This is a new setup. So even somebody with a commercial van, maybe like a cargo commercial van or something, that would want to have more effective AC for the back, oh man, it could be really cool. It could be a really cool unit for somebody. I'm going to remove it. I just don't need it. It's not, you know, it's not going to fit what I want to do with the Motovan, but that's going to come eventually when I have to deal with the lines, deal with evaporating or evacuating the AC system, cutting off the coolant, you know, the pipes that run back. I have to loop everything up front and essentially get the parts from an OEM cargo van to replace up front, so that it bypasses all this stuff and then remove it. It's going to be kind of a chore and kind of annoying, but it also does give me a nice square hole in the floor here, which some people wouldn't want a hole in the floor, but if it's OEM and nice, I may be able to utilize it for something, but we'll see. So obviously you can tell that it's not completely done, right? So the floor is still in. So for you guys that don't know, if you have people that have a passenger van, they pretty much dread getting rid of these bars right here. So there's so much chatter on YouTube and on forums about how people get those bars removed. So they do bolt down to the bed of the van, to the body, and there's all kinds of stuff on the nuts that they use on the underside. Most people do drill them out. I got a couple techniques I'm going to try. Some of them can be unbolted, because like the spares right here, I can drop the spare and get to those, but some of the stuff up front, it's going to be not fun, right? So let's go over here and look at some other stuff. So like I said, obviously I'm waiting to do the carpet and floor. I'm just running out of daylight today, so I'm not going to remove the carpet until it's time. Super easy to pull out when the time comes. You know, it's all right here, just waiting to be removed. So what we have up here is airbags, and I'm not gonna lie, you probably saw in the time lapse, I was being very ginger with these guys. So I am going to have to remove these airbags. If you guys have never messed with airbags in vehicles before, with say like aftermarket steering wheels or something like that in cars, you always want to disconnect the battery and things like that, let it completely discharge, that there's no way that that thing right there can go off. They're not supposed to, but it's one of those things. So with that in mind, we notice that the airbag runs all the way up, and it is the curtain airbag for the passenger and driver side here. So what does that mean? Well, I'm going to have to remove my headliner, of course, to do that. So I kind of was running out of time today. I just went ahead and stuck one pin back up in there to keep it secured for now. Removing the airbags is going to be another day's job. It's going to take a little while to get it done. It should just unbolt and everything should be straightforward, but I'm not going to do it just completely removed the curtain side airbags. Obviously, with this being a passenger van, it's going to have, and in 2018, of course, it's going to have 2018 safety features for passengers, which means, as you saw from the time lapse, all this stuff all the way back, the bag, the curtain, and all that jazz. So I had to remove from both sides. I wasn't originally going to remove the front headliner. I was just going to drop it down, leave it in place. But I noticed obviously it's exposed up front. So it was a perfect time for me to just go ahead and remove it. So whenever I start insulating and doing sound deadening, I can do the entire top of the van. It'll just be a little extra, not a big deal. But it'll be good, right? It'll be good for ultimately trying to keep the heat in and the heat out in the summertime, you know, with my giant black van, which is going to be awesome. But in any case, I have come to the point to where I'm getting close to tackling some of the larger problems. A note on the airbags. So these are the plugs. There's one there, there's one here that you guys saw me unplug the airbags. So if you guys are ever, if you've ever messed with airbags, you probably saw in the time lapse that I have the hood popped, I disconnected the battery, I held the brake for 15 seconds, left the key on, and then just left it alone for probably like 15-20 minutes before I disconnected the airbag. You don't want to mess around with airbags. So I did that, it obviously went smooth. So what do I have now? I have a system with 2 airbags in the van that it's now going to not see. So I have basically 2 options. I can deal with the light. So with the light on, I'm not going to have front passenger and driver side airbags because there's an error in the system. It will not activate any airbag when there's an error in the system. It's a Department of Transportation, DOT safety feature, right? So there's that. So more research is needed. So my 2 solutions are one that I read works, which is a little bit more evasive, which is taking the cylinders out there that unplugged from this, depressurizing in some fun form or fashion, may or may not involve shooting it to decompress it, cut the top of the cylinder off, which ultimately plugs into this connection. Whatever resistance value that plug in that cylinder head is providing for the system, on both sides will make the airbag light turn off, and the system will think that it's good to go, ultimately allowing me to have passenger and driver side airbags. So that's one possibility. The other possibility is to do a little bit of research and hopefully find the correct resistance capacity or ohm capacity, some sort of modular solution, so I don't have to get crazy. One thing about getting crazy, though it may be fun, I'm also going to eliminate the airbags that I've now removed, which are in perfect working condition. So another key to this, like I said before about the passenger van, is yes, it's extra work. Yes, I'm going to have to deal with these problems and come up with solutions. But at the same time, what do I get? If someone had a van with light damage that was looking to bring it back and the airbag had deployed, these are perfect replacements. Like, I should be able to sell these so to get some of my money back. So I don't want to go quite ham with decompressing the cylinder. So just a quick close-up, that is the plug in the cylinder, which other folks were saying once it deploys you take it off, cut the end of it off, and then use that in the plug. But we shall see. So at this point, I'm to the point now where it's time to start tackling the 2 major projects. So one project is the floor, which is getting these bars out and the carpet will come out, which I'm going to be sad about because I've been happily walking around on my knees. And the second is to take care of that HVAC unit, which requires parts, evacuating the AC system, and all that jazz, which I mentioned before. So moving forward, all in good time. All right, my friends, that wraps up the first major progress on the van build, the Motovan. I am so excited to finally get some work done on this thing. It's been a long time coming, making the decision to do the van, and you know, to go and sell my truck and buy this van and a little daily driver beater car. It's kind of a big step, you know. It's kind of one of those things where, yeah, hopefully I don't regret it, but everything I've seen, I'm not going to regret it. This is so awesome. The van is the way for racing season and for getting out there and being able to ride on a whim. All my gear and stuff can stay in here. I'm really excited. I love builds. I love doing different stuff and working with my hands. So yeah. All right, that wraps it up. Hope you guys are enjoying the series. Video 1. Woo! You guys get out there, get on 2 wheels, ride a dirt bike. This is Accelerate once again, signing off.